Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear. This time out, we have a special guest with us. This is Brian Swerdfeger. You are the VP of Guitar R&D for Fender Instruments, right?
Isn't that a cool job?
Man.
I'm a guitar player with a really good job.
Yeah, how do you get that one?
Well, you know, you love guitars and the people that play them, that's for sure.
Right, right, absolutely. So we've got something really cool here to check out. What are we looking at?
This is the American Acoustasonic Telecaster.
The Acoustasonic Telecaster.
First of a brand new platform for us, and it's the answer to what if we could make a modern acoustic. What would we make?
Right.
This is it.
Right. Well, this is the first time I've really had a chance to sit down with one. You were out a few months ago and demoed kind of a prototype for us, but this is the first time I've had a chance to sit down and play it, and I have to admit, I'm blown away. You can't help but just sit here and just play it. It's so fun.
Well, to me, that's important, right? If it on your lap, it's a great experience, it starts there. As a guitar player, I want to be inspired to play, right? And so even though people have seen this kind of thing before, it performs and sounds like nothing you've ever heard, right? And so I called it the on-lap experience. And we did this with, this is Tim Shaw and I. And so when we were first playing it, we wanted to do something that on-lap experience, or Olay as we called it, it had to deliver. Right? Because then, if it felt good and it was dynamic and you're interacting with it, then anything you did plugged in would translate. Right. But it had to start with a great guitar.
Right. So we have here an acoustic guitar. I mean, there actually is acoustic sound that's coming out, and when you play it, it resonates. It feels like an acoustic, but it also can cover some kind of electric things as well.
Yeah. So the idea was that we wanted a chassis that responded with all the nuance of a great acoustic. So this is a solid Lutz spruce top, and it's inset in the mahogany back and sides, and it's fully hollow. And then we've got some custom braces, and then we tuned the whole thing with this new sound port. And so when you get up on it, you'll notice it's got some depth and a 3D nature to it. It echoes the mahogany sides, but that port, its diameter and its depth are specifically designed to give you this great acoustic feel and dynamic response.
Okay. Okay.
And so, that's it really is an acoustic guitar masquerading as a nice thin, easy to play Fender.
Right. Right. So the neck is more, I think an electric player would say this is more like a Telecaster neck.
So it came from our American Professional line. Everybody loves the Amp Pros. And so we took that shape, and the major changes are it's made out of mahogany, and then we put an ebony fretboard on it with a 12-inch radius. So it's somewhere in between an electric and an acoustic. Right. But to an electric player, it's going to be super, super familiar.
Right, right. And we were talking earlier, this particular one, well, you have one that's strung up traditionally like an acoustic. Right. This one has a plain G string, which is a little different feel.
So what's cool about this is it's really for people that want to make music. So take all the rules away, right? It has to be this or it has to be that. We're going to ship it with acoustic strings, but if you want to put electric strings on it like we have on the gray one, you can. If you want to do a hybrid, that's got 3 electric strings on the top and 3 acoustic strings on the bottom. You can do whatever you want. Right. Make it yours.
Sure. Sure, yeah. Well, I love it because you can, as a player, you can play your licks that you're used to playing.
That's the point. And, as I watch people play these days, when I was younger, people had a specific acoustic style or they had a specific electric style, right? And never the twain would meet. Right. You either were doing James Taylor tunes or you were doing Zeppelin. Right. But the truth is nowadays, we all play a variety of things. We want to play a variety of styles and eras of music. And even guitar players now, as we would watch them come through the shop, they'd sit down with a Stratocaster or a Telecaster and they'd play one way. Then they'd pick up an acoustic and play the exact same thing. And I thought, man, watch that. They're blending, styles. Right. So what if we could make an instrument that it not only met those needs, but could inspire new things and drive them in new directions? And so that was the genesis of this. And I think we really, really got there. It performs and does a thing that nothing else does, and we're stoked about that.
Right, absolutely. So beyond the acoustic qualities of it, obviously there are some sophisticated electronics going on here as well.
Right. So I have this long-held axiom that guitar players love guitars, not science projects.
Right.
Right? We love to play guitar, but when it starts to get too techy, maybe not as inspiring or not as fun. So this guitar has a whole bunch of high tech hiding under the hood, right? And we touch tech all day long. You think about our cell phones or computers, and we're always interacting with tech. On this guitar, I wanted you to interact with the guitar. And so Tim and I and the team, with the forearm contour built in, you'll notice the open pore satin finish.
Sure.
This, you're connected to a guitar.
Right.
Under the hood, there's a mix of old school analog and future digital driving the output. So you get a whole bunch of experiences that have never been delivered on a guitar, but if you're always playing the guitar first.
Right.
You're not playing a science project.
Right, right.
So, that's what you end up with is a volume knob, what we call a mod knob, and a 5-way switch. The 5-way switch loads a pair of sounds or experiences each time, and you're in a different position. Then the mod knob allows you to go between an A voice and a B voice in that switch position. So we would start up here, we call it number 5, closest to the neck. And this starts with the biggest, fullest, fattest dreadnought style sound. Sitka, Rosewood, we've all heard this on records. That's a big sounding guitar.
Yeah, right.
The B side of that mod knob then takes the output and is going to kind of tighten the waist, change the type of spruce on the top, and give us more hi-fi, like a grand auditorium. Switch back to the other and you hear the deeper, fuller low end. So that's going to kind of work in a similar way each time as we go through the switch.
Right. And you can also, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you can also pan between those, right? So we can get sort of a hybrid.
So that's really
kind
the
of
secret, right? These sounds that we've heard before on records, but now we're knitting two of them together in the middle. So the second position, or actually number 4, is a great demonstration of that because it starts with a parlor, a maple small body guitar on the A side. The B side is a mahogany dread. Right? And so think about all those times you've played a parlor guitar and you're like, man, this is cool, but I wish it just had a little fuller low end. Right? Now you can just roll it in. Let's listen to that. Little parlor. So you really can hear the difference between that little tiny sound and then the big one. So that's where that in-between sound is just fabulous because based on the track you're playing or the band you're playing with live, you can dial just the right personality to fit your song.
Right.
The third position of the switch introduces one of the other pickups, the body sensor. And so with the mod knob off or in the A position, you have a great Brazilian rosewood dreadnought sound. The B side rolls in the body pickup. So what that does is now anything that's going up and down on the top, we call it Z axis. That axis gets you all this top and so if you were one of the percussive players, you like to do loops or something, now you can, get all of that, the snap and pop.
Right.
There's also a little extra benefit because it's getting the Z-axis stuff. It gets all the tap harmonics jump out of the guitar. And that's funny because when we were doing the development of the sound with Larry Fishman and his team, Tim and I were there, and Tim said, I'll probably never play that position because I don't play that way. I don't tap and pop and stuff. And so we set him up with the sound and we turned it on and he was playing. 45 minutes later, he looked up and he said, well then, I guess I was wrong. So I think that's true about all the sounds in the guitar. There might be things that you don't have application for today, but I'll guarantee you'll find a musical application for it.
Right, right, sure.
So then we get down to the number 2 position, and now we're introducing the magnetic pickup for the first time. So we start with the acoustic sound, and then you roll in the electric. Kind of a double-tracked sound. Think about all the Beatles records. John Lennon's 160E had a magnetic pickup in it that was going to an amp, and they had a mic on the guitar. We've heard the sound in pop music forever.
Sure.
And then think of all the people that, whether it's in worship or you're in a country band, you starts acoustic, then goes electric. Rolling in that electric just fills in, gives you a heartier voice.
Right.
And then finally, the pure magnetic sound starts with a clean Fender electric sound and then goes to what we would call a fat clean sound. So you get a great, like... kind of a clean sound, and then you also get a full fat rock rhythm. So, all out of the same guitar, right? This is the same guitar that was doing this. Is doing...
Right.
So, that's the, be careful what you see, because it doesn't sound like you think it's going to sound.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So we were talking a little bit earlier, and there is still a percentage of the actual acoustic guitar that's part the instrument itself, and it's not all modeling, I guess is what I'm saying, or not all electronics.
It's actually more guitar than electronics. So that was again, back to the chassis had to be a great guitar. And then we can process it any way we want.
Right.
And then, I was one of the fathers of the Taylor T5.
Okay.
And so learned a lot of lessons with that, and that was David Hostler, and we had done a lot of work with Rupert Neve on the expression system. He was the analog genius, right? We love all that he's done and brought to the audio world.
Right.
We took that part of the analog world and then went to Larry Fishman and his team of super genius
right.
and said, okay, we have this dream for a future. We want to give you a guitar that has just what you need and nothing extra, right? So there's no big box in the way, but then can you process our analog front end through future digital? And we were able to from this just whole dream concept world, go to this.
Right.
Took us 3 years. This has been a long project, but I think we really got there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm assuming there's a battery. Is there battery life? How long does it last? All those kind of things.
Yeah. So it's powered by a lithium-ion battery, and it's recharged via the port here. So any USB phone charger, any USB certified charger will charge the guitar.
Okay.
So if you forget your charger, you lose your charger, you want to charge it in the car on the way to the gig.
Right.
All that works. A 4-hour charge gets you 20 hours of plugged-in playing. There's also a little LED on here. So 2 hours before the system's going to go completely dead, it starts flashing at you. Charge me. You can get through this set, then plug me in.
Plenty of warning.
And then the other cool part is you can charge and play at the same time. So if you've got one of those little, detachable battery packs, or they come in all shapes and sizes, you can have that plugged in and play at the same time.
Oh, okay, great.
So you're never going to be, out of luck at a gig, for sure.
So we are recording your playing basically straight into our cameras, into a Zoom, recorder.
Right.
And would you typically want to run this through a full range monitor, or do you recommend a guitar amplifier, or how would a player use it?
Any way they want.
Okay.
And that's not a smirky answer.
Right.
But the idea is that if you want to play at DI, awesome. You can get all these sounds direct, right? You can go into an interface into your computer and a DAW. You can play at church through a DI. Any of that's good. Acoustic amp, whatever. But if you've got an electric rig and pedals, man, this thing loves pedals.
Yeah.
You can play overdrive and the craziest fuzz into an amp. You can play the acoustic sounds in the amp. They'll all give you a slightly different experience, right? But that's just like cooking, right? We all use different levels of the same ingredients and get different flavors. This is designed so you as a player can find your voice. You play it how you want to play it. Make the music you want to make with it, and it'll be happy doing so.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think the ultimate versatile rig would be to come out into like an AB box and have one side go to a DI and the other side go to your amp, and then you could pop back and forth.
That's the way I've been using it for the last year at
Is
church.
that right? Well, there you go. Great minds think alike, right?
Yeah, it's super simple because that way you take the A side to the, I always think A acoustic, that's my DI, and the B is I'm going to go beat it up and put it through boxes and, and play electric. And it's, whether it's the string choice that you use or the amp choice, pedals, you'll find that it makes inspiring sounds wherever you go.
Right. So did you have, you mentioned younger players and how you've seen a unification of playing styles between acoustic and electric. Was there a particular player you were aiming this for, or how did you focus that side of it?
So, I grew up playing at Disneyland.
Yeah.
I lived the California myth. Played in a surf band at Disneyland. Lived at the beach. And we always struggled to get great acoustic sounds live. That's no different today. People still struggle to get a great sound that doesn't feed back, that sounds like a real acoustic and not just a pickup and all that. So I would say this is for anybody that's trying to get a great acoustic sound. Direct recording, playing live, so whether it's you're a singer-songwriter or a frontwoman of a band, a worship leader, it's going to solve problems for all that.
Sure.
Everybody.
Right.
Because it's really resistant to feedback. You could be playing it through a fuzz box and do something totally new and totally crazy with it. And I'm hoping someone does. Right. We get the next hit single.
Right.
With somebody fold, spindle, and mutilating one of these. I think because it's a great guitar in your lap, we're going to find people that use it to songwrite at home, use it to track and put their ideas down to the computer, and then go and take and play it live. Right. Because it comes with a really, really great gig bag that we designed for this, and it's sturdy yet it's portable enough that your music goes wherever you want it to go. Right. And so the idea that we used to have dedicated rigs and lots of gear to get there. The hope is that someone just goes, man, I'm just going to grab my Acoustasonic. I'm covered.
Right.
That and a pedal board.
Right.
And, I'm good to go.
Right, yeah. And certainly for all those songs where you have to switch from electric to acoustic, ideal solution for that.
It's all over pop music, right? And so in the past, this type of guitar has come from the solid body viewpoint, right? We've taken solid body guitars and added piezo pickups to it and said, hey, it has an acoustic sound. Ick, right? I've been a part of those, and they're a little hard and crusty and offensive sometimes even. This came from let's be a great guitar first. Let's get the chassis right, and then optimize the electronics to deliver all these experiences.
Right.
So it's unique in that sense that it can be that one guitar that you take. That if you need to play both, this will do it authentically.
Right.
And it's not a model and it's not a mimic. It's the real deal.
Right. Wow, so cool. I've been sitting here actually, grabbing it so I wouldn't sit and play because it's so compelling. You just want to pick it up and.
That's Fender.
Not like that, but.
But that's part of our heritage.
Right.
A Fender guitar is easy to use. It's always good sounding. Whatever you plug it into, it's going to sound good.
Right.
It's going to make a usable sound. Right. And so this, between the forearm contour and the satin finish and the neck shape and it plays like an electric guitar, right? So we've all fought acoustic guitars being clunky. Now you're not reaching around it. You're not fighting with the neck or fretting. You're just going, like you said, oh man, this is
great couch guitar, right?
Yeah.
I'll just sit here and noodle the rest of the day.
Perfect.
If you don't mind. You don't need this back, do you?
No, that's yours.
I wish.
There's little cues all over the guitar to its modern nature. right? So if you look at the laser engraved logo, on the back, the back plates are all brushed aluminum and they're recessed. So even in the neck plate, we're the first production Fender guitar to have a recessed neck plate. Normally it's bolted on the back. This is, you'll notice this sitting in a beautiful little channeled cavity. You know, and like I said earlier, the finish is super, super thin. It's a specialty urethane that we developed just for this. And it has open pores, so you feel the wood grain through it.
Right.
Yet it protects the wood fully.
Sure.
So it has the things that make it acoustic, but at the same time, it's a pure Fender guitar.
Right.
Right. It wants to rock.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, people are definitely going to want to check this out because it is a huge step forward for that whole combination of acoustic, electric,
and everywhere in between.
And everywhere in between, yeah. And it's just fun.
Yeah, I would encourage folks to they got to try it.
Yes, absolutely.
We can talk about guitar all day, but
Right.
playing it is a whole different world.
Right.
And it's kind of trite in our industry that we talk about it's made by musicians for musicians or all that kind of thing. But at Fender, we really want to help players at whatever part of the journey they're on move forward. And I know when I can inspire guys like you and I and people that have been playing a long time to think of a guitar in a new way, to a brand new player that goes, wow, this is light. These are under 6 pounds. They're comfortable. So, if you're a smaller frame or a beginner that doesn't want to play, something that's hard to play, this will inspire you as well.
Sure.
So,
sure. Very cool.
Thanks.
Ryan, thanks so much for coming in and introducing us to the Acoustasonic. It's really, really fun, really cool. I'm excited.
Have fun with it.
You bet. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me for Sweetwater's Guitars and Gear. Be sure to tune in next time. We'll have more guitars, we'll have more amps, more effects. We'll be making lots of music. I'm Mitch Gallagher.